grown up with Robby. Robby was always a gifted athlete from birth. So me being 23 months older than him, he was always good enough to play on all my teams, and even at that was usually the best player on my team, you know? So it was always an honor watching him. He was gifted pretty much at anything he picked up, whether it's soccer, hockey, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. Yeah, he was always a star.
Robby's one of those players that you can get caught watching. One of the greatest athletes ever to come through here. His ability to make things, really hard things, look easy is every day to him. When you have that type of talent and you have that type of competitor, you always had a chance, and you knew that in big moments he could make really big plays, and that's what he did.
Robby was a unique kid and a unique player. You know, you got a kid that's 6'3", kind of gangly, aggressive, but he had an unbelievable basketball IQ. When you match the assist record, you've got to know the game a little bit. And Robby knew that, and he had that, you know, from the get-go. So right off the start, I mean, I knew the kid was going to be special.
When you need him to make a catch, Robby was there. And he'd be kidding around and fooling around the whole time. And when you need him to make a catch, he was there. And that's what I remember about him most of all.
You look at his highlight films, I mean, he's just graceful. I mean, everything was just, you know, from basketball to football, you know, and he's probably one of the few guys that you can sit here and say that he would have not only made, but probably started on every single varsity sports team if he wanted to.
Robby had just moved up. He was a sophomore, I was a senior. We were preparing for Glenville and Ted Ginn, and Robby had his first chance on the varsity scout team, and from the first play, he took over, and I think he scored 5 touchdowns. I just think of that as kind of our first experience at Ignatius together. At the time, the highest level that we could think of. He just picked up right where he left off.
We were playing Mishawaka Penn. We had to go up there and play on a Friday night. Well, Mishawaka Penn did a great job of defending us the first half. We were having trouble with pass protection, and they were sacking Rudy, and the running game wasn't as good as it could have been. And so we had to go and make some adjustments at halftime. We knew Robby, he was going to be able to make some outstanding plays. So what we did was we put both backs in the backfield. Rudy was in the shotgun, and we kept those backs in. They checked first before they released, and so we had like a 7-man protection at the line of scrimmage. Gave Rudy a little bit more time to throw, and Robby a little bit more time to get out. And he did an outstanding job. I think he had 3 touchdowns in the second half, and then we came home with an easy win.
The headline in the South Bend Mishawaka papers the next morning in huge letters was Parris plasters Penn. And that just something that always just sticks in my mind. But yeah, I mean, he had that ability, but to him and to us, it was, I hate to say it was, that's Rob, but that's who he was. That's the type of performance that you knew he was capable of.
Well, Robby would always make the play, and he made us look good. You know, he went for the big catch all the time, and he made the catch all the time. And that's why I remember one game, it was down, I think it was down in the Hall of Fame game, and he made catch against Camp McKinney down there, and I think he made catch in the end zone, and I didn't think he could catch it. And I went, my God, what are you doing, showing off? You know, and Robby was always that kind of kid, and he would come off field, he wasn't looking for a lot of people saying thank you to him or stuff like that. He was very, very good kid, and he always made sure that the team was the first thing first. And we won a lot with him, so that was good.
The statue type player that Robby Parris was, younger kids looked up to him, you know, and it made it easy, you know, for me as the head coach. I knew kids coming up were looking at Robby, and Robby did things the right way. You know, when he stepped on the floor, it was business. But when he was off the floor, it was fun. So he had a great balance. And having a good balance in life, I think, was important. And I think he brought that balance, and he showed that balance to kids that were behind him. The night he tied the assist record was a really good game, because watching that happen, watching his basketball IQ and getting his teammates the ball in spots where they could only put it into the basket.
I would just have to say that I owe so much to my parents. You know, they sacrificed so much. We grew up, we didn't have a ton, and they would essentially give up their life to drive me to sporting events, to take me to AAU basketball games, to make sure I, had the best possible option, Going to the games and seeing your idols play and seeing Pete Fox and seeing John Gannon and seeing these guys who, when I was 12, 13 years old, those were my idols. And I'd see the plaques in the Hall of Fame and I didn't really get it, I knew I wanted to be there because it was cool. But now to be able to be in the Athletic Hall of Fame with those guys that I once looked up to is pretty cool.